Have you ever turned on your tap and wondered how all this clean, running water just magically appears? It feels like a modern miracle, right? But what if I told you that thousands of years ago, ancient civilizations had figured out how to get fresh water flowing into their cities, all without a single pump, power plant, or complex chemical treatment? It's one of the most brilliant, yet overlooked, feats of ancient engineering. Today, we're going to dive deep into the genius of ancient water systems and see how they stack up against our own. Let's travel back in time to ancient Rome. The Romans were the undisputed masters of water management. Their secret weapon, aqueducts. These weren't just beautiful stone bridges. They were superhighways for water. The concept was elegant in its simplicity, gravity. Roman engineers were experts in surveying. They would find a clean water source, like a spring or a river, high up in the hills, often many miles away from the city. Then, they would meticulously plan a route for the aqueduct, ensuring it had a constant, gentle, downward slope. We're talking a very slight gradient, sometimes just a few inches of drop for every 100 feet of length. This was crucial. Too steep, and the water would flow too fast, eroding the channel, too shallow, and the water would stagnate. They would build these incredible structures, sometimes underground in tunnels, and other times soaring across valleys on those iconic arches. The water flowed through a covered channel at the top called a specus. This kept the water clean from falling leaves, dirt, and animals. It was a closed system, protecting the precious resource on its long journey to Rome. When the water finally reached the city, it didn't just spill out randomly. It was directed into large distribution tanks called castelli. From these tanks, a network of lead or ceramic pipes would carry the water to public fountains, bathhouses, and even the homes of the wealthiest citizens. Think of it as a city-wide plumbing system, powered entirely by nature. But the Romans weren't the only ones. Let's look at the Nabateans in the ancient city of Petra in modern-day Jordan. They lived in the middle of a harsh desert where water was more valuable than gold. They couldn't build massive aqueducts across vast distances, so they became masters of harvesting every single drop of rain. They carved intricate channels and cisterns directly into the sandstone cliffs. When the rare desert rains came, these channels would collect the runoff and funnel it into huge underground reservoirs. These cisterns were essentially giant, naturally cooled water storage tanks, protected from the hot sun to minimize evaporation. They even developed simple but effective filtration methods, using layers of sand and gravel at the entrance of the cisterns to purify the water before it was stored. This allowed a thriving city to exist in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. And it wasn't just about collecting water, it was about keeping it clean. Many ancient systems incorporated a process we now call sedimentation. Before the water entered the main channel of an aqueduct, it would often pass through a series of settling basins. The water would slow down in these basins, allowing heavy particles like sand, silt, and grit to sink to the bottom. The cleaner water from the top would then flow into the main channel. It was a simple, gravity-powered pre-filtration system. Some systems, like those used by the ancient Egyptians to draw water from the Nile, used porous clay jars. They would fill the jars with river water, and as the water seeped through the microscopic pores of the clay, it would leave behind impurities. This is a form of natural filtration, using the material itself to clean the water. So, how does this ancient ingenuity compare to our modern systems? Well, today we've taken the core principles and supercharged them with technology. Instead of relying solely on gravity, we use powerful electric pumps to move massive volumes of water over mountains and across vast distances. This gives us incredible flexibility. We aren't limited to downhill routes. We can build cities pretty much anywhere and pump water to them. And when it comes to purification, we've gone from simple sedimentation to a multi-stage, high-tech process. First, we add chemicals called coagulants to the water. These chemicals cause tiny particles of dirt to clump together into larger, heavier masses called flock. Next, the water moves into sedimentation basins, just like the ancient ones, but on a much larger scale, where this flock settles to the bottom. But we don't stop there. The water then passes through massive filters, typically made of layers of sand, gravel, and charcoal. This removes even smaller particles, including many bacteria and microorganisms. The final and perhaps most crucial step in modern treatment is disinfection. This is something the ancients didn't have. We add a disinfectant, most commonly chlorine, to kill any remaining harmful bacteria, viruses, and parasites. This ensures the water is safe to drink when it leaves the treatment plant and stays safe as it travels through miles of pipes to your home. This disinfection step is the single biggest reason why waterborne diseases, which were a constant threat in ancient times, are now extremely rare in developed countries. So, what's the verdict? Are modern systems just better in terms of safety, scale, and on-demand convenience? Absolutely. The ability to disinfect water has saved countless lives. The power to pump water anywhere has allowed our cities to grow in ways the Romans could only dream of. However, there's a cost. Our modern systems are incredibly energy intensive. All those pumps and advanced treatment processes require a huge amount of electricity, which contributes to our carbon footprint. They are also complex and expensive to build and maintain. This is where we can still learn from the ancients. Their approach was fundamentally sustainable. They worked with nature, not against it. They harnessed natural forces like gravity and used natural materials for filtration. Their systems were resilient and required far less energy. As we face challenges like climate change and energy scarcity, there's a growing movement to incorporate some of this ancient wisdom into modern design. Concepts like rainwater harvesting, green infrastructure that mimics natural filtration, and designing systems that use gravity wherever possible are all making a comeback. It's about creating smarter water systems that are not only technologically advanced, but also more sustainable and in harmony with the environment. The story of how we get our water is the story of human ingenuity. From the gravity-fed aqueducts of Rome to the high-tech treatment plants of today, we've always found brilliant ways to manage this essential resource. But perhaps the next chapter in this story will be about finding the perfect blend of ancient wisdom and modern technology, ensuring clean, safe, and sustainable water for everyone for generations to come. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations into the marvels of engineering. See you next time.